Hey friends, this is the Miss Wolfie from our Half Acre Homestead. Well, Papa and I have cleaned out the big freezer. I am going to can up all my pork and ham meat that is more than 2 years old, even if it's vacuum sealed. I got ham hocks, ham steaks. This is a smoked ham. It's not smoked like in the old days where it is shelf friendly, but it was pickled and smoked in our smoker. So we've got 2 more of these we found in the freezer. So yay! Next big do we'll have a thing. So I'm just going to let these thaw enough so that I can get the wrappers off them, and then we'll get them in the pressure canner. Okay, I have my really big tall canner. I've got the rack in the bottom. I have 1.5 gallons of water. We bought some celery this weekend, so we cut the bottom off. Yes, I know you can grow them. I'll talk about that another day. A couple of onions, and I'm going to add 1 bay leaf and a few peppercorns. Now, I'm not putting any salt in this. Why? Because almost all of the meat in here is either ham or bacon that's been in my freezer for, what, 2 years. Just get my lid on here. Okay, I'm going to put this on high. When this begins to vent a steady stream of steam, then we're going to time it for 10 minutes, and then we're going to put a 10-pound weight on it and process this for 90 minutes. So I don't know if you can see it very well, but there's my steady stream of steam, and I have set my timer for 10 minutes. Okay, we've been producing a steady stream of steam for 10 minutes. We're going to put our 10-pound weight on, and as soon as that jiggles, we are going to turn this down to just between medium and maximum, and then we will set the timer after the first jiggle for 90 minutes. And there is our vigorous jiggle. So I'm going to turn this down to just between medium and maximum, closer to medium than maximum. And we're going to let this process for 90 minutes. Okay, so Howie has tipped out the broth. We're going to put that in the fridge. And right now, because I can't fit this canner in the fridge, I'm just taking out the good pieces of the meat. I mean, look, isn't that beautiful? And so that I can get the rest tossed out. So that's what I'm doing right now, and then tomorrow we will continue, but it'll all happen for you in a few minutes, all right? Later. Okay, here's our ham broth, and it's been in the fridge, and this is my drippings jar. Whenever I save bacon or ham drippings like that, I just strain them while they're hot through a fine mesh sieve. And it makes a beautiful white fat. But look at this. Look at this ham fat. Because basically this fat is just rendered fat from the bacon and the ham. And that will be so good for frying your hash browns in for breakfast. Look at this. This is so, the gelatin in these bones is so thick that I can literally just almost peel the fat off. Now I don't mind leaving a little bit of fat in the broth, but not all that fat. This ain't chicken fat, but by God, it's beautiful fat for frying. So we're gonna put that back in the fridge. Now, I lost quite a bit of meat. Well, I thought I didn't have as much meat as I thought because a whole lot of it got taken out in the fat. So now we're just going to take the chunks of ham and bacon, and I'm just going to start dicing it up into like bite-sized pieces. So here's our broth and here's our ham, and I just want to show you. Look at this ham broth. Look at it, folks. It's gelatin. All right, I'm going to heat this up and we're going to start canning this. Okay, here's our pressure canner with the requisite amount of water in the bottom, which is about 3 inches or 3 liters. And I put a splash of vinegar in there so my jars won't cloud. Here's our washed and rinsed lids and ring. Okay, while the broth heats up, whoops, I'm going to go ahead and divide this ham between these 6 jars. Oh, this is going to be perfect, I think. I got 1 jar with a little bit more than the rest. I now use a measuring cup to pour broth or water over my canning because I can hang it on the side of the pot and it's just easier. Okay, now I am not, for obvious reasons, going to add any salt to these because the broth would make, the smell of the broth alone would make you drown in your own saliva. I'm not kidding. And the ham is so delicious. So we're going to fill this to 1 inch from the top. And I'm going to debubble just because there is ham in the bottom. Always, always wipe your rims and threads with a clean damp paper towel. Put your lid on, fingertip tight, don't wrench on it like you're a muscle man, just fingertip tight and into the canner that goes. I've been wanting to clean that freezer out for a year, but now it is ready to be clean for the new season. Okay, I've got 5 1-liter jars in this canner and I am going to put the lid on here. Now remember folks, your canning equipment, especially if you cook with your canning equipment, has to be broken down, rings removed and scrubbed, all those things every once in a while just to make sure that you maintain your proper pressure. Okay? So yeah, my canner's getting old and beat up, but it still gets the job done, just like an old workhorse. We'll lock it into place, and as soon as this begins to spout a steady stream of steam, we're going to allow it to vent for 10 minutes, and then we'll be back and put our 10-pound weight on. Meanwhile, I have 1 more jar and probably another quart jar of broth in here that I'm just going to can up as well. This is going to be awesome for things like red beans and rice with ham in the winter. Yum! The canner has now been releasing a steady stream of steam for 10 minutes. We're going to put our 10-pound weight on here, and as soon as that starts to jiggle, we'll start our timing for our processing. And for quarts, I'll correct it in text if I'm wrong, but for quarts, it's 90 minutes at 10 pounds pressure. Unless you live 1,000 feet or more above sea level, then you got to check your manufacturer's directions, okay? That's that lovely vigorous jiggle I was talking about. Now I'm going to turn my canner down to just between medium and maximum, closer to medium than maximum, and I'm going to process this for 90 minutes. Okay, our timer has gone off, and it's really important when you're pressure canning, folks, to make sure that you do not try and rapid cool your canner. The cooling process is actually part of the canning process. So please, folks, don't jiggle the weight to release the steam. Don't plunge it into cold water. And please, please, please do not try and open the lid until it is cool to the touch. And there it is, folks. 6 quarts of ham with lots of broth and 1 quart of ham broth. That's going to make some beautiful red beans and rice and other meals this winter. This is the Miss Wolfie from our half-acre homestead saying, if you got leftover meat in the freezer that is more than a year old, it does not hurt to can it up and make it last longer. Take care, God bless.